The Hidden Secrets of Queen Elizabeth. Chapter 1. The Note. When will I be free? It's been 5 years as a servant, and my master never lets me free. I can't find any people to adopt, or at least love me and care for me. That's because I am 12 years old. My master won't let me get adopted, and everyone likes babies. Well, it's not going to happen. I might as well keep sweeping in this nasty and dusty barn and give up. Then I see the grumpy old man, Mr. Harbour. "Are you done yet?" he says in a mean voice. Then I say in a quiet voice, "No, sir, I finished dusting." So he says in a stern voice, "That's all? I let you in for half an hour, and that's all you did was dust. You deserve to stay in here longer." As he closes and locks the door, I say, "Wait," but it's too late. He already took the key. Then I hear the mailbox being opened and shut. I guess I'll have to get it later. Lucy, I hear the man say, "The mail's early. Get it." Then he leaves without a word and leaves the door open with the key in his hands. I run over to the mailbox and don't see anything in it. I swear I heard the mail truck. Then I start heading back into the barn. There it is, the mail. It's a pretty big box. The box alone on the porch step. Who could have put it there? The gate's closed and locked, isn't it? Or did I leave it open? I walk over to the gate entrance and see the gate closed tight and the key nowhere in sight. Huh? How did the package get there then? Oh well, I'll just have to watch the gate at all times. As I walk up to the porch, Mr. Harbour is standing there with a face looking at me. What are you doing standing there at the gate? I told you to get the mail," he yells at me. "Sir, there's something wrong with the gate." I pause at his interruption. When I give you directions, I expect for you to obey them. Do you understand?" he says in a yelling voice. Yes, sir," I say in a quiver in my voice. "Now, whose package is that?" Mr. Harbour says in a lower voice, pointing at the package. I sit on my knees, read the address, and say, "Mine." "Well, don't just sit there staring at me. Open it," says Mr. Harbour. I start tearing the box apart and find a huge quilt, a big picture frame with Queen Elizabeth on it, and wait a minute. Queen Elizabeth looks exactly like me. "Well, who sent this package?" Mr. Harbour says impatiently. "I don't know. It doesn't say," I say curiously. "Is there a note in there or something?" Mr. Harbour asks. I search through the box way down below the box and find a letter. "It's from Queen Elizabeth," I say as I look up at him. "What? Impossible. She's gone," Mr. Harbour yells, nearly breaking my eardrum. I read the letter aloud. "Dear Cliff's family, this is the head chief of the guards of the palace. I have sent this message to everyone in the kingdom. These things in this box are just copies of the real things. As everyone knows, Queen Elizabeth died years ago in a carriage accident, but as the butlers were still searching the palace attic for artifacts, we found that in the accident not everyone died. We believe that Princess Amanda is still alive. If any of these artifacts look familiar to you, please contact the palace. Yours truly, Chief Linger." I finally finish. "Sir Harbour," I say after I finish. "What do you want?" Mr. Harbour asks. I think these are very familiar," I say. Then Mr. Harbour says, You're just playing so you can escape from me, isn't that right?" "Oh, no, sir. You see, Queen Elizabeth looks exactly like me," I say, as I hold the frame out to show Mr. Harbour. "Stop talking about that and get to work." Mr. Harbour yells, and I start to reply, but this time no. I'm going inside, and I better not hear any more of your mouth," Mr. Harbour interrupts as he slams the old door. I stand there waiting. Am I really that small? Really, Lucy? Why do I feel so small? I try holding back my tears. I kneel on the floor again. I stare in the old mirror and at the picture, then back. Maybe, just maybe, I could find the answer myself. I go inside to my room. I pour out the money I have in my piggy bank. Only 5 cents. Well, I guess I could afford half of the way to the palace. The rest of the way I can walk. I sneak by Mr. Harbour while he's taking his after-lunch nap. After I'm outside, I start walking to the village. I find the palace where they keep the carriages and horses. I go to the front of the stables and say to the manager, Could Could a driver please take me halfway to the palace for 5 cents? The manager says in a kind, deep voice. Well, I'll call the driver as soon as he comes back. In the meanwhile, there are some books in the waiting area. Is that okay with you, young lady? Yes, thank you, sir, I say politely back. You're welcome, ma'am, he replies back. I walk into the rebuilt waiting area and start reading a book called Gone with the Wind. Then I look out the window, see the carriage arriving. A tall young man climbs down the front of the carriage to help a couple down the steps. He seems nice enough. I walk out of the waiting area and run into the man at the counter. Oh, are you okay, young lady? I'm so sorry. I was just going to call you. You are a fast young lady, said the man in the man's deep voice. Thanks, I say as he helps me up. I walk out the door and see a man waiting for me. Are you Miss Lucy Clips? He asks in a kind and comforting way. So I say, yes, sir. I would like to go halfway to the palace, please. What a nice young woman you are. I'll take you all the way if you'd like, he says. Why, thank you, but I don't have 10 cents. I say politely. Don't worry, half the way will be free for you, he says as he helps me into the carriage. I watch out the carefully built and shiny window with beautiful carvings around the brim. I've never been in a carriage before. This is much better than walking everywhere I go. I've seen carriages, but I've never had enough money till now. A couple minutes later, the carriage stops to a halt. I must be here at the palace already. I carefully open the elegant door as a young man helps me down. The palace is a wonderful place, my dear, but I'm afraid that there are guards that won't let other people in unless they're with a guard or part of the king and queen's kin, he says politely. Well, I believe I'm part of the royal family's kin, I say sheepishly. Ha! Well, I hope you find your real family, he says as he bursts into laughter and strides off to the front of the carriage. I slowly go up to the palace steps, my shawl carefully wrapped around my head, as 2 guards appear in sight. Who are you? A guard says. I'm here to see Sheaflinger, I say in another sheepish language. Come with me, a guard says as he opens the big brass doors. As I walk in, I notice how strict the rules have gotten since the couple died. I walk slowly as I feel the sharp pain of the guard's hands around my shoulders. They walk me to a closed door, and I hear Mr. Linger come from his desk to his door. While he's doing it, I think, wow, he has a really good ear to hear us without knocking on the door. What do you want? He says loudly as he opens the door. Hello, I say with my head bent down, knowing that when I tell him the story, he'll laugh. So that's just what he does. I tell the story, and he just bursts into laughter. Well then, young lady, if you think you're so royal, then what's with your clothes? He says with a deep chuckle. I'm a servant, sir, I say. Well, I don't believe you. Take her away, he says. When we come back to the front doors, unexpectedly, they just throw me to the sidewalk from coming down the steps. Never come back, a guard whispers as the carriage pulls up. The same man opens the doors. I climb in. So the silence continues as I walk up to the French porch steps. Why, Lucy? Why so small again? When I open the door, I spot Mr. Harper standing there, hands on his hips. Where did you go? He asked impatiently. So I say, I was at the market, sir. Then he says, well, where are the groceries? So I say, I'll go get them right now. I run out to the door to the village. I grab some milk, half and half, and some eggs for tomorrow's breakfast. I quickly pay the debt and run back to the house. I walk in as Mr. Harper says, what took you so long to get the groceries? So I say in a sheepish voice, Then Mr. Harper says, you don't know, huh? Well, you better tell the truth if you don't want to get hurt. So I say, I didn't exactly go to the grocery store, sir. You see, I pause at another of his interruptions. Then where did you go? Sir, I've been trying to tell you where I went. I actually went to the palace, I say, feeling even tinier than before. Why did I have to say that. You went where? He says madly. And in a sheepish voice I say, the palace, sir. Then not another word is heard. We just look at each other in silence. Me at his frowning face, and he at my embarrassed and sad face, wondering what he'll do next. I think you deserve to go upstairs and dust. You haven't dusted up there yet, he says in a surprisingly calm voice. I climb the stairs slowly as the silence begins again.